Imagine finding a child in the dark, forgotten corners of a city's underworld, filthy, wild, and seemingly belonging to another realm entirely. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a journey into the shadows of New York, where legends become reality, and a young girl's true origins might just haunt you.
It started on a cold October morning. Workers in the depths of New York City's sewer system stumbled upon a sight that would haunt them for years to come. A young girl, filthy and wild-eyed, crouching in the dark, watching them like an animal cornered in its lair. She was unrecognizable as a human child, her hair matted, her nails claw-like, and her body caked in layers of dirt. The workers carefully led her out of the shadows, not knowing whether they were bringing her to safety or pulling her away from the only home she had ever known. Once they reached the surface, doctors estimated her age to be somewhere between 8 and 11 years, but her behavior, it was anything but childlike. She moved with animalistic caution, violently resisting anyone who tried to approach. Her eyes darted around the sterile hospital room, as though she was searching for an escape route, or perhaps for something familiar that might comfort her. In those first moments, one thing was clear. This was a child who had never known the light. Renée, a seasoned social worker known for her work with difficult cases, was assigned to Barbara's care. Renée had seen her fair share of troubled children, but nothing prepared her for this. Barbara wasn't just lost. She was different in ways Renée couldn't explain. Her entire being seemed to recoil from the world above, as though she were a creature born of darkness, not meant to walk among the living. Determined to unravel the mystery, Renée dedicated herself to Barbara's case. She spent countless hours observing the girl, trying to connect, to bring her out of her shell. But it seemed impossible. Barbara flinched at the slightest touch. Her eyes burned in bright light, and she rarely made a sound. The only solace she found was in food, which she devoured with an almost primal hunger, and in the strange, twisted drawings she made of monstrous figures, creatures that looked as if they had crawled out from the depths of her nightmares. In her search for answers, Renée stumbled upon a peculiar urban legend whispered among the people of New York. Stories of humanoid creatures who thrived in the darkness of the city's underground. Creatures who were intelligent, social, and had adapted to life in the sewers. They were said to have evolved away from the surface world, hidden from human eyes, yet always watching. The connection was undeniable. Could Barbara have been raised by these mysterious beings? The idea seemed absurd, yet somehow it made sense. Renée's mind began to race with possibilities. Was Barbara one of them? Had she been abandoned? Or worse, had she wandered too close to the surface only to be trapped in a world that was never meant to be hers? Barbara's fate was left to the courts, and in the meantime she was placed in a local institution. Renée visited her regularly, though each visit left her feeling a deep sense of unease. The girl was surrounded by walls, locked away from the darkness she seemed to crave. And then, the strange incidents began. A sudden infestation of rats plagued the institution. They appeared everywhere, in every corner, as though drawn by some invisible force. And the strangest part? Barbara seemed to communicate with them. The staff noticed her whispering near the drains, the rats appearing as if by command, watching her through the bars as though waiting for orders. One night, Renée's worst fears became reality. She arrived to check on Barbara only to witness a scene that defied all logic. Emerging from the sewer pipes was a large, rat-like creature, its form grotesque and unnatural, yet possessing a strange, almost human intelligence in its eyes. And it was looking at Barbara, as though it recognized her, as though it were family. Renée's heart pounded in terror as she watched Barbara step forward, extending her hand to the creature, her face lit with a calm that she had never shown in the surface world. They stood there, girl and creature, bound by a connection that transcended the boundaries of human understanding. Before Renée could react, Barbara turned back toward her, a silent goodbye in her eyes. In a swift movement, she and the creature retreated into the darkness of the sewer, slipping into a hole in the floor. followed by a swarm of rats that seemed to shield her from the world above. And just like that, she was gone. Renée could only stand there, frozen as the echoes of their departure faded into silence. She had lost Barbara, but perhaps, in a way, she had returned her to where she truly belonged. Barbara vanished, leaving only whispers and shadows in her wake. Was she truly one of them, a child of the darkness? Or was she simply a lost soul, desperate to find a place where she could belong?
And now, the question remains. What would you have done in Renée's place? Would you have let her go, allowing her to find peace in the depths of the city's forgotten world? Or would you have fought to keep her in the light, even if it meant her unhappiness? If you found this story haunting, please consider supporting the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to join us for more stories that delve into the mysteries that lie just beneath the surface. And remember, not every legend is just a tale. Some shadows hide truths we're not ready to face. And remember, the abyss is waiting for you.